Yes, sir. Big JTV, like, comment, sub, man. We got to talk about something serious, man, and it's the unfortunate passing of Malcolm-Jamal Warner, Theo Huxtable from the Cosby Show, and how tragic that this man has passed away at the age, I believe, if I'm looking at this correctly, 53. 53, right? 54, my mistake, right? 54 years old in Costa Rica by drowning, right? And it got me to think about what he represented as a black boy who eventually became a black man within media, right? I think that a lot of people forget or maybe don't acknowledge that the Cosby Show was the most popular show on television for a very long time. During its run of about, if I'm not mistaken, like 7 or 8 seasons, it was the most popular show in America. In all of the United States, man. It was pulling numbers out of the behind, man. And the reason, this was 8 seasons, by the way, is because it showed a black family who had affluence, right? Affluence, yes. Yes, who was having affluence and having normal life experiences that a lot of people within America could relate to. So during its 8-year run, it was consistently number one, right? And the reason it was number one was because you felt like you could relate to the characters, right? You felt like you could relate to the family members, to Cliff Huxtable, Claire, Denise, and of course, Theo, right? So when you can relate to these characters and these people, when you know, hey, these situations that they went through, I have went through with my family, right? And what made it revolutionary is it was a depiction of black folks, not just in affluence, but black folks in the exact same situations that anybody with a family would go through. And Theo represented a younger black male, right? Now, if you look at media today, what is an example of a young black man? It's a YN. Yes, YN. Literally, they made an acronym for ignorant young black men called a YN, right? And it's sad to really talk about. So, and this is my argument here. There was a time, remember when Bill Cosby went through, all his allegations and went to jail for a certain amount of time, and then they found out that the people who took him to jail had messed up his case and he was let out free. That Cosby Show, the same one that's so influential to a lot of people, was removed from syndication and taken off TVs. It was absolutely ridiculous. I was against it because you have to separate the art from the artist. And Bill Cosby had a reaction and he broke his silence about this tragic passing of gone too soon, Mr. Malcolm-Jamal Warner. So I'm reading this off the New York Post. Bill Cosby breaks silence on Malcolm-Jamal Warner's death, compares fatal drowning to losing his own son. Michael Jamal Warner's TV father is addressing his tragic death. Hours after it was reported that the actor died at 54 by fatal drowning in Costa Rica while on vacation with his family, Bill Cosby's rep, Andrew Wyatt, shared how the comedian took the news. Wyatt told the Post, Cosby spoke to Felicia Rashad earlier today, and they reminisced about Malcolm. Cosby starred as Cliff Huxtable, the dad of Warner's character Theo Huxtable, in The Cosby Show of 8 seasons from 1984 to 1992. Rashad, 77, played Claire Huxtable's Theo's mom. According to Wyatt, Cosby shared that his childhood friend recently passed away, noting that hearing of Warner's death added to his pain. Wow. The actor, who just celebrated his 80th birthday, feels like everybody's leaving, Wyatt told the Post. The star's spokesman also shared that Cosby told him, "Why I was his TV dad, I never stopped being a father to them." The actor, who compared Warner's passing to losing his own son, Ennis Cosby, who was murdered in 1997. Hearing the news reminded me of the same call he received when his son died. Wow, that's sad. Wyatt added. He also shared a heartwarming story of a full circle moment with Warner. He started with The Cosby Show. He was a teenager, Wyatt explained to the Post, adding The Cosby gave Warner his upright bass named after his own son in 2016, more than 2 decades later after The Cosby Show had ended. And he said, so his legacy would be that he humanized the world, Wyatt said of Cosby's son, adding that now Warner's death and he would humanize the world even more. Wow, that's sad. That's sad because keep in mind, Bill Cosby lost his son of a failed robbery attempt, right? And what this shows me is that there was such a bond with these cast members, man. You know what I mean? One of the first people he called right after, I'm talking about Bill here, one of the first people he called was Felicia Rashad, his TV wife and essentially a surrogate mother to Malcolm-Jamal Warner. And you could tell that they all had some kind of genuine love and support for each other. You do 8 seasons, which mean pretty much 8 years with the same people on the number one show on TV. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. You cannot deny that, right? And, you know, regardless of what happened, you know, Malcolm-Jamal Warner, him and his family should be so proud of what he was able to accomplish. I recently learned that he won a Grammy Award. Yes, traditional R&B Grammy Award. He plays bass and he was also a poet, right? These are stories of black men who are not YNs, who actually follow and achieve more than people want to box them as, you know? He doesn't have to be a rapper. He didn't want to he didn't just want to be an actor. He wanted to do music, and he did it. He wanted to do poetry, and he did it. He had a podcast talking about mental health struggles, and he did it. He is somebody who said, I'm not going to fit your box. I'm not going to be another child actor who crashes out in their early 20s, becomes a drug addict, and, has a tragic end like we've seen many times. He said, I'm going to represent my people. And something really interesting that I learned about him recently while I was doing my research, he had a take about the Kendrick and Drake beef that happened last year. And he said, this is horrible for black people, man. The slings and arrows and the petty, unnecessary beef. And you see all over Malcolm-Jamal Warner's social media, he's trying to put out a positive message towards black people. And I think towards black men, and I believe it's because from a young age, he represented a generation of young black boys who were watching him on TV and could relate to him and his story, man. So as he goes to the ancestors, man, rest in peace, Malcolm-Jamal Warner. I'm happy to see the Bill is doing well. It celebrated his 88th recently, you know what I mean? And that's what the beauty of having older age. Old age is a blessing, man. And we become a society and a people who like to clown and make jokes. But let me tell you this. I'd rather be a ON than a YN any day of the week. Rest in peace, Malcolm-Jamal Warner. Get in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. I'm out.